Welcome to my studio, which now I refer to as Studio for Steel Painting. What is steel painting? I like to take this opportunity to explain to you, because I'm very proud that I think I am the creator of painting in steel. It came about from many years of painting that I've been doing, maybe 20 years I think, and been totally dissatisfied with the result of the paintings, not because of the quality, but I felt that the painting had no life in it. I would go to art exhibit, museum, look at great masters and other people. It was still the same. Painting on canvas was illusionary. The lights, the color, the depth are created by the artist, which is fine, except for the fact that once these painting sits by itself, it's dead. There's no life to it. It doesn't react to its environment, light conditions and so on, which is fine if you prefer to the classic way, but I wanted to create a painting style that would in the end has a life of its own. It reacts to its environment. It reacts to changing light conditions and so on. How the steel painting came about was one day I went to an automobile show in Bangkok and walked into the vast space where new automobiles were being displayed. I felt excited by all the colors. I realized all these colors they had so much life in them because they were part of the automobiles. Those automobiles were like artworks in themselves. They were curves and bends and painted in multicolors, reflecting the lights in that whole space. And then coming out, being stuck in the traffic, instead of being bored, I also beginning to see all the colors of the automobiles on the roads and the light from the sun and so on. They were all alive. I said, God, if I could create paintings just like that, then I believe that would be the way to create beauty, as far as from my point of view. So now I have, the last couple of years, been developing this technique using steel sheets that are used to make automobiles that we are driving in, how these steel sheets are cut and bent into shapes and painted all the various colors and to produce the beautiful automobiles, which these days are really work of art. So this opportunity, I'd like to show you some of how I have developed this technique into works of arts that I am now very proud of. Most of the pieces, maybe you will see later, were development phase, but the last 6 or 7 pieces I think are really good example of what I refer to as steel painting, a new art medium at which I like to think of. Now I have to get up from my chair and let me show you around my studio and explain in detail what is steel painting. By acrylic on canvas, the traditional way, which I first step in doing steel painting. I paint them like this one and these other ones, which you will later see in actual steel painting forms. But there's one piece that in the process that I'm still working on. It's not finished yet. This is not my creation. It is an enlargement of a painting done by a famous Chinese monk. It was a very large painting with the Buddha in the middle, and it is entitled Buddha of Infinite Light. So when I look at the photographs, I have not seen the original of this painting, I felt that infinite light, but there's no light coming out of this painting, these colors. So this is what I was referred to as, an illusion of light. But in reality, the painting has no life. I don't think there's any light there, just colors. But it's still beautiful. How do I turn this into steel? I started looking at the pieces like this. It's all of this. And then refer to when I mentioned automobiles. Automobiles are made of steel like this. This is steel sheets. Your automobile is made from this. Big sheets bent into shapes. So as we started cutting these pieces out into the shape like in these that I've painted, and then the pieces are bent into form. Why do I need to bend them? Because that's where you get reflection. That's where your lights come from. Playing of light, changing conditions. And move on from the board painting. This piece I've been working on just from the creation of that infinite light. I call it the radiant Buddha, because if you go back to that and you go back to this, these light beams have now turned into the steel, the automobile steel, and painted, and then bent it. Why do I bend them? Because each bend reflects light differently. And the whole piece come like this here. See, we bent them. I bend them like that, paint them the colors that we need, and then they're fixed onto steel sheets. Like that, and all the pieces are like that. And the finished product, well, there's a lot more in between. And these are just base painting. Then they're treated with various ways so that the final product becomes like your automobile. Beautiful, shining with deep colors, reflecting all the lights around it. And you will notice pieces that have been created, all of those later. How with each environment, with changing light conditions, still it changes. Compared to that, it just stays the same. So this is steel painting. Thank you. From the paintings finished, then everything is traced and then cut into, from the cardboard, trace it onto the pieces are cut like that. Those are like the drawings, and each drawing, each piece has its own color. And then these are traced onto the steel mat, and then that gets cut out down below. And then I paint it, then I shape it according to the way I want the lights to reflect, and put it in place. And then there's a few more steps, just like an automobile being painted. It's impervious, almost impervious to anything as modern automobile. Art and Kunung, my main, this is the art team. Enjoy Mom 3 steel paintings, please. These were the first simple one, just simple, plain, few pieces, and then it gets more complicated. How to do the different colors, how to fit them together. Whether to shape them according to like a sculpture, relief sculpture, or to shape them just to enhance the lighting and the shadow, like these ones. This was experimenting whether pieces can go on top of each other. They're not very good when you put them on top of each other. It's better to treat them like a painting, not a three-dimensional sculpture. This piece was just to experiment it with curves, big pieces, and this one was actually done for a blind person to experience. So you close your eye and you run your hand over, you can feel the whole pieces, the bodies, and so on. So you don't need to look at these steel paintings. Just put your hands and feel them everywhere. And there's no problem with touching them. These pieces are meant to be touched, meant to be kicked. You can do anything with it, like an automobile. Same experimental pieces on top of each other. And now we'll take you to see some of the latest pieces. And those are finished. From now on, it's real steel paintings coming out of my studio. Up. You saw this piece when it was painted on the board previously. Now it's been turned into steel. This piece is through the whole process. So the degree of complication increases, but no pieces are on top of each other, and then each piece also bent, not according to the human body, but according to how the lights and shadows are created. And that's the whole point of steel painting. This one is the beginning. You can see each wave, there's light, there's dark. See how the light changes with its environment. It's in this room, this gallery room, and the whole painting reflects the lighting condition. Whether the sun light is coming through the windows or not changes. Even the black part reflects the light in the room, which become a part of the whole painting, those light shadows. We move to this piece, which is the same series. We saw this one when it was painted on canvas. This piece was a single piece, but looked like they were looking at something. So I did another piece, and now they are looking at each other, and the middle guy gets squeezed. But it's still the same as that. None of the pieces are not shaped because it's a hand, it looks like a hand. Because a head, it doesn't look It's just shaped in order to create light and dark and shadows and brightness. And on the background, which also reflects the environment, the whole room. Yes. See, when you look at it from the side, it's different. When you see the ocean of these pieces, that's just a painting by itself, even without the subject matter. This one is humorous in a way, but a nice lady who does not like to grow old, so she's screaming in my old age. But now, since it's sitting in my gallery, it has a restaurant, we often put a plate of food in front of her mouth, and it looks great. But this one, again, it's simple. It's a combination. The pieces, like this pieces, the cheek and the lips are bent as if they were a relief sculpture. But then I start introducing these pieces. Her hair are bent in waves. So the waves now starting creating the shadows, which makes a picture come alive. And this one is called my Mona Lisa. The lady turning her face. Once again, no pieces on top of each other. It's just like a painting. Each piece is on a black canvas. But each piece is bent in order to create the light and darkness that I want. It's not bent like the other piece. Because it's cheek, it has to be this, or because it's that. This one just for the effect of the light. So, new pieces are under production and they'll continue to flow now. This is the number one piece, a piece that I did just to see whether it was acrylic on canvas before, whether I could turn it into a steel painting. So this was the first piece that we experimented. You can see here the curves are very much trying to curve like a human curve. But certain other parts start getting interesting, how the pieces tie up together. The kiss, lips become one, so it all worked out very well. It's a nice little piece. I hope you have enjoyed your visit to my steel painting studio. I think I've showed you what steel painting is, what it can produce, and that in the end it is a new art medium. It's not painting on canvas, not oil painting on canvas, it's not sculpture, it's not relief sculpture, it's steel painting. It has a life of its own. Each painting you've seen is alive. Whether we're looking at it or whether it's just sitting alone in the room, it's constantly changing. It's constantly alive. So enjoy Mom Tree steel paintings, please. And look forward to more and more coming up. Thank you.